So because you were all in here waiting so patiently, sitting down so obediently, being just wonderful, I figured I'd share with you a little bit around what happens outside in the back room with the politicians when you're not there. Only a slight thing. So I was out there and I was surrounded by three handsome, tall, charming men. Okay, so you got the tall, you might figure out that that would be Mayor Iveson, and then Minister Mason, and then Minister Sohi. And I said to Mayor Iveson, I said, so how does it feel to be the only politician that isn't a bus driver? But without missing a beat, Minister Mason, and if you don't follow him on Twitter, you should, because not only is he a strong defender of many things, but he's quite funny and sharp, and he's like, yes, but he owns the buses.
We pay for it.
Yeah, we pay.
Minister Sohi, you're like from one end to the other now.
Yeah.
I first got to know Minister Sohi because we would often be on the bus together. And I was really amazed by that. It gave me a new insight into politicians, and to have someone that actually drove the bus for a long time and then rode the bus, I felt incredibly confident that a member of council knew what many different people in Edmonton needed and how they experienced life. And I think that's still today. Almost 4 years ago, we elected a brand new government for the first time in a very long time in Alberta. And it was one of the first times that I think every Albertan could look at that cabinet and look at those representatives and see themselves in government. And I think that's an incredible thing for young people, for women, for people of color, for the LGBTQ community, to have people that actually are you. They're not all just businessmen, they're not all lawyers, they're not all white dudes. There's a great spectrum. And sooner or later, who knows when that might be, sometime before May 1st, we may be into an election again. So as people who live in McCauley or work in McCauley or are here to celebrate with us, I hope you ask those tough questions to all of your candidates to find out who will be the best representatives for the issues that you want to bring forward to form the next great government of Alberta. Come on! We're incredibly honored to be a small community. McCauley has about 5,300 people in its borders right now. To have these politicians with us tonight, as well as these other honored guests. And if you look in your program, we're going to enjoy a few words from each of them. And we're going to start with Minister Sohi, bringing greetings from... You could stay there for a minute.
Then be quick.
Yes. A challenge.
No, I'm going to go on. This is my time to get back. All the bad things and things he said about me. Sometimes, not today. So I'm going to go on at least half an hour. The rest of you can go sit down, and Brian's going to stand. Thank you so much for having me join such a wonderful celebration of success of 40 years, being a voice for the community and giving that voice to very diverse opinions, how a community should be built and how a community should be engaged. I think that's the success that we are celebrating today, the hard work of many people who have been involved with the Boyle McCauley News from the inception to the challenging time, and the engagement. And now, after 40 years, we are, as a community, have come together to celebrate. I think that's the beauty of it. So please, thank you so much to all of you for coming to support the community, and it is very, very valuable and very appreciated. And once again, thank you so much for including me and my wife, Amarjeet, in today's celebration.
Minister Mason, I'm wanting to call you Councillor Mason. Maybe Mayor Mason in the year.
Go tell him what. Well, you stole my thunder. I'm here to officially announce. I actually am retiring at the next election. I chose not to run again. I've represented this community for close to 30 years, both on the City Council and in the legislature. It's been a privilege and it's been an honor, but mostly it's been fun. I've thoroughly enjoyed it, but I think you need to let the younger generation take over at some point, and so I'm going to be retiring, but I won't be gone. And I want to thank McCauley in particular as a community, first of all, because it is one of the most diverse, interesting, colorful communities in the entire city, and I find it a fascinating place, and I know it has its challenges, but the people who live and work in this community, the people, the activists, the people that work for the community are some of the best people I've ever met, and they work hard, they believe in the community, and they make it better every day. And so I want to thank them and thank you for this. I've often wondered how the Boyle McCauley News survives financially when community newspapers in much more affluent neighborhoods have been folding right, left, and center. Well, now I know. All of you, this is a fabulous event, and it shows the kind of work that the people at that newspaper do, and it's mandatory reading for people who represent the community. It's a very, very important source of news about what's going on in the community, and we always have it in my constituency office. So I want to thank all of you very much, and on behalf of Rachel Notley and our government, it's wonderful to be here with you. Thank you.
Minister Mason, as an MLA, also has advertised in the Boyle McCauley News for quite a long time. That's another way you could support our paper, is to advertise it. How about that to bring you in? Edmonton's favorite mayor, Donna.
I haven't made any decisions about 2021 yet. Luckily, I've got a couple more years to decide, but it's good to know you have options, you know. It's a buyer's market these days, so politicians, there's plenty of us around. But the reason I know all of us up here in public service, including our new police chief, Dale McPhee, who's with us here tonight with his wife, Leanne. Please welcome Chief McPhee. And my good friend and colleague, Councillor Scott McKean, as well as the two ministers. One of the best parts of our job is to get the chance to work with folks like you, and particularly in the McCauley neighborhood and through important community institutions like the Boyle McCauley News. We have the chance to work with you and get your best advice, and we may not always agree. I mean, even in this room, I can anticipate some of the disagreements that will happen after a couple glasses of wine, but they will be over the best way to build a city and a neighborhood that can thrive for every single component. And some of the strongest voices, not just in these neighborhoods, but for our whole city, are in this room right now. And it is a privilege for us to be able to work with you, and it is important that there be multiple channels for those voices to be heard. And community newspapers, as some of you will know, is part of my background. My wife and I, for a time, even while I was a city councilor, were editing our own neighborhood newsletter. And so you can take the boy out of the newspaper, but you can't take the newspaper out of the boy. And so I'm especially fond, turning 40 myself this year, to be able to say congratulations and happy birthday to the Boyle McCauley News. And to say a special thank you to everybody in this room, particularly the volunteers who've helped make it possible, but also the stalwart business support which is in this room, from this long time with the Spinellis to Mint on the block here now, and all of the partners who are in the room, and the readers. If no one's reading it, it's not making an impact, but clearly it is, and so thank you to everyone, and happy birthday on behalf of all of us at Edmonton City Council, and you'll hear a little bit more from Scott later, I think. So, but anyway, thank you for inviting me to be a part of your event tonight. I apologize I can't stay for dinner. I've got one more stop, but thank you so much for including me. Enjoy the day.